Yeah, I know. It's been 2 years since I last made a video like this. I'm aware of that. But a few weeks ago, I saw a little movie that some of you may or may not have heard of before, and that movie is called Edward Scissorhands. And what did I think about it? Well, to put it very lightly, I love this freaking movie! Sorry about that. That joke went better in my head, and I'm never doing that again. Yeah, let's never do it again. Alright, anyway, a while ago, I saw the movie Edward Scissorhands, and to be honest, I thought it was pretty interesting, and honestly, really wholesome, and pretty emotional, too. Okay, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not crying! I'm literally not. I'm sorry. So I decided, you know what? Since I like this movie so much, and I'm kind of obsessed with it right now, why not make a video of me reviewing it? But before we begin, I want to give a couple disclaimers, and the first one is directed towards Willy Wonka. More specifically, Timothy Chalamet Willy Wonka. Listen, Willy, just because I'm obsessed with this movie now, it does not mean that I'm over you in any way, shape, or form. You're still one of my new favorite things of 2024. You're just gonna have to share a spot with Edward because...
God, nobody cares, just get to the point!
Yeah. Moving on, this video will contain spoilers for those who have not seen this movie. If you have not seen this movie, then by all means, definitely go watch it. It's such a great movie. Alright, enough yapping. Let's get on to the review.
Oh, thank God!
So, the story revolves around a boy, or man, whichever, named Edward, who, believe it or not, has scissors for hands. God, imagine having to catch those hands. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. Why does this guy have scissors for hands? Is he crazy or something? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. Basically, Edward is actually an artificial humanoid, meaning that he's some sort of creation and not an actual human. So, he's kinda like Shadow the Hedgehog. Anyway, the reason why he has scissors for hands is because his inventor was about to give him real hands, but he sadly died of a heart attack, so Edward is forced to live with scissor hands for the rest of his life. Oh man, his backstory is actually really sad. It's okay, I got this. I can do this. So anyway, one day he ends up meeting this lady named Peg, who is selling Avon products, and because she feels bad for him, she decides to take him home and adopt him. Now, this is the very first time that he's ever interacted with other people, so he's basically learning about the world around him and trying to get used to it. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is a suburban life, by the way, that he's trying to get used to. Now, some people seem to be really nice to him, but then there's others who think he's a monster, and would literally go out of their way to get him in trouble for absolutely nothing that was in his control! And you know, it only gets worse when this guy named Jim, who is the ex-boyfriend of Kim, who I forgot to mention earlier, gets Edward arrested for nothing! I actually hate this dude, Jim, not gonna lie. And on top of that, Edward is tormented some more, the police are called again, and he gets chased back to the castle that he was created in, and excuse my language, but Jim ends up becoming a complete asshole to Kim, and then he gets what he deserves. Death by Edward Scissorhands! Yep, that's what he deserves. You go, Edward! So after that, Kim says goodbye to Edward, and then Edward never sees her or the other people ever again. yeah, remember earlier I stated that this movie was really emotional? Well, guess what? I wasn't joking! This movie really knows how to tug at your heartstrings. You don't even know! But it was done really, really, really well. I'm not kidding. Now, have any of you heard of the phrase, "Don't judge a book by its cover"? Oh, wait a minute. Everybody knows that phrase, and I think it's absolutely perfect for this movie. Not only is it completely relevant to the plot, but also for people who have never seen this movie before. In fact, believe it or not, my first exposure to Edward Scissorhands years ago was from this old Vine video.
A little off the top.
Believe it or not, I actually always used to think that he was another generic horror movie monster, kinda like Freddy Krueger. Who, me? No, not you, Freddy Fazbear. I meant Freddy Krueger! Aw. Hey, don't worry, Freddy. I'll make a video about you someday, I promise. But then clips of Edward Scissorhands started showing up on my recommended page on YouTube, and I was kinda surprised to see that this is not another generic horror movie, but rather sort of a romantic fantasy film or something. And it makes all the sense in the world, and it kind of makes you relate to the other people around Edward. I mean, yeah, at first, when you look at him for the first time, it seems like he could be the kind of person that would murder you. Especially when you look at him from far away. I mean, look at this scene! Oh god, it makes you want to run for your life! I mean, that's horrifying! But then when you actually get closer to him, you'll realize that he's actually kind of a sweetheart. And he just wants to make friends. I mean, look at him! Look at his face! You can look into his eyes, and you can tell that he just wants to be your friend. I mean, just because he has a bunch of sharp objects for hands, that does not mean he's gonna kill you. Well, all you gotta do is not piss him off. And you wanna know what else stuck with me when it comes to this movie? Here it is. I feel like this movie must be some kind of metaphor for people with disabilities. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but hear me out. So Edward was born with scissors for hands, and this is something he has no control over. He has no choice but to live like this for the rest of his life. And because of this, he is basically unable to do a lot of things that we can do with no issue. Especially without worrying that he's gonna break something or hurt someone. I mean, there's plenty of examples in the movie that I can go over, but the one I'll bring up for this video is that he can't even give hugs. I mean, he can get hugs, but he can't hug the person back. And if he tries, he's gonna have to try so hard to be careful not to hurt the other person. It's really sad. However, despite all of this, this doesn't mean that he was not able to find a talent. Yeah, he has a talent that he found in the movie. Well, more than one, actually. The talents that Edward was able to find are trimming bushes, giving people haircuts, grooming dogs, making statues out of ice, and making a shish kebab. This dude is a pro, man! And what do you know? He is still doing these things after knowing that he was never ever going to see the people of that town ever again. Heck, he even makes ice statues of them too! So yeah, he basically did not let his big scissor hands stop him from finding something that he's good at. And I'm proud of him, actually. I feel like he can actually be an inspiration for people in real life who have some sort of physical disability. So overall, this movie has 3 different morals. 1, don't judge a book by its cover for the love of God. 2, don't let anyone put you down just for being different. And number 3, and this is the most important one, do not let your disability stop you from finding something that you're good at. Even if it seems like you don't have anything that's good about you, I can assure you that there is something that you are good at. You just gotta figure out what it is, and you will go far, just like Edward did. And now we move on to our final rating of the movie. I give this movie a 9 out of 10. And, along with that, the D-Tom Seal of Approval! And just for the heck of it, here's my Edward Scissorhands fan art. Some of you may have seen it before, but I decided to show it again since I felt like it was appropriate for this video. And if you want to check this movie out yourself, you can either get it on DVD, if people still use DVDs, because I still do sometimes, or you can watch it on HBO Max, or simply just Max as they call it. Because trust me, this movie is so good, you will not regret it. Alright, that's about it, I guess. Thank you for watching, and have a Tom-tastic day.